So what we're going to do now is break down those ripple effects for you further, telling you more about how the shock waves from the West Asia war are spreading far beyond the region and impacting you, millions of households. What started out as a geopolitical flashpoint in the region is now making its presence felt in a way into an energy crisis. Now, the world's most critical oil supply routes are under strain, and as the oil supplies get squeezed, the impact is naturally being felt on the streets, in homes, at fuel stations around the world. So let's just take a closer look and tell you more about how different parts of the world are being impacted. We are starting off from how Asia to Africa, from South America to the Pacific and South Asia, the oil supply crunch is now a global story. So let's take a look at how the crisis is unfolding. You can see how the fears of fuel shortages, of course, that have been talked about are playing out country by country. In New Zealand, for example, households are feeling the pinch as fuel costs are surging. Let's just move on now. Cambodia, petrol shortages have led to long queues. Chile also witnessing the impact, seeing a rush at petrol pumps as people try to beat the impending price hikes. So that's the sentiment in a way on the ground, as you can see. Let's also talk about what the situation is looking like in China, where fuel stations in Beijing are packed with consumers bracing for what lies ahead, for bracing also for the impact. In India, meanwhile, scenes of long queues have been surfacing in Hyderabad, even as authorities try to calm the shortage fears. Also in Japan, the government is preparing to release strategic oil reserves to stabilize the supply. And in the Philippines, let's just move on to the Philippines for now. The situation there also escalating to what can be called an energy emergency. Now, these, of course, are not isolated incidents like we just pointed out. They are a part of a larger global disruption. So it's not just systems that are suffering. It's people, households who are being impacted. Let's just play out for you some of these voices, how ordinary citizens around the world are reacting to this oil crunch.
This is hitting us very hard. We depend on fuel, and we are going to do our best to make sure this price hike does not get passed on to the parents, because things are already tough enough as it is.
Well, it's too high. Yeah, you see what I'm running, it costs a fortune. But yeah, I guess I have to start just not driving around so much. So yeah, it's going up 10, 20 cents a day at least. It's yeah, it's crazy.
For a transportation service worker like me, I want the war in the Middle East to end soon so that the price of gas goes down to normal and we can do business as usual.
And the thing is, from transport workers in Chile to residents in New Zealand and Cambodia, the rising costs, longer waits, the growing uncertainty is just about everywhere. Let's also break down for you what's driving this crisis. The global oil markets, of course, are in turmoil, and according to the International Energy Agency, the world is facing one of the largest supply disruptions in history. Global oil supply could drop by as much as 8 million barrels per day. That's the impact that we are talking about. Now, at the same time, Gulf countries are being forced to cut production by nearly 10 million barrels per day. Not because they want to, of course, but because they simply cannot export it. And with key routes blocked, storage filling up, and logistics breaking down, production itself is being scaled back. And the impact is uneven, but also widespread. Here's a look at who is being hit the hardest and how governments are responding. Let's just zoom into Southeast Asia for now. Countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia are already under strain. Governments also, in fact, have declared national emergencies. They've ordered remote work, even shutting down fuel pumps in some parts. On to South Asia now. Let's just shift focus. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan taking strict measures from 4-day work weeks to bans on fuel sales in plastic containers, which is aimed at preventing hoarding, basically. So that's what things are looking like in that region. Let's just shift gears and move to East Asia. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, tapping into strategic reserves, while also introducing domestic price caps in order to protect the consumers. In Africa, countries like Egypt, Kenya, resorting to early closures of malls and restaurants, along with export restrictions and fuel rationing. So those are the kind of measures that are being taken there. So from emergency declarations to rationing to price controls, the global response is intensifying due to the massive stress on supply chains, economies being under pressure, everyday life being impacted. And as the crisis deepens, one thing remains clear. What happens in this region is now impacting the entire world. On to India now, in Odisha. After a gap of 48 years, the inventory of the treasure trove at Sri Jagannath temple started today. The treasure trove, in fact, is also called Ratna Bhandar. Let's also tell you about this process. It started this afternoon with authorized personnel entering the temple, strictly following a prescribed standard operating procedure. This exercise involves representatives from the temple administration, the Reserve Bank of India, government bank officials. Only a limited number of designated individuals in traditional attire are engaged in this exercise, reportedly. The ornaments are being counted, weighed, identified, will be cross-checked with records from 1978. The last inventory was conducted between May 13 and July 23, 1978. While the 1978 exercise took 72 days, officials told, in fact, reportedly said, the current process will be completed faster with the use of modern technology. 2 gemologists are assisting in the identification. Each item is being digitally photographed. Gold ornaments reportedly being wrapped in yellow cloth, silver in white, other items in red, before being stored in 6 specially prepared chests to ensure transparency, videography, digital photography, and 3D mapping being undertaken, with gemologists assisting in identifying those precious stones. The ornaments are being wrapped in those cloths, secured in those specially prepared chests. Officials also clarifying that no monetary valuation is being carried out, and the focus remains on documentation and verification. The exercise would not disrupt the daily rituals at the 12th century shrine. Devotees have been allowed darshan from the outer barricade inside the temple. Switching gears, Pakistan brick kilns have often faced scrutiny over hazardous working conditions and exploitative child labor. And now a kidney racket targeting these kiln workers has come to the fore. Nearly 5 million people, most of whom are bonded laborers, work at 20,000 brick kilns across the country. And a new report by The Guardian exposing the alleged underbelly of this business. Thousands of these workers reportedly being coerced into selling their kidneys, allegedly. And this stemming from a systematic debt trap in the name of recovering cash advances paid to the workers. The owners deduct close to half of their wages. Thus, workers get barely $3 per every 1,000 bricks that they make. According to reports, some owners compound their misery further by inflating their debts and undercounting bricks that they make. As per reports, such vulnerable workers are lured to sell their kidney for just above $1,000. And now this also comes as Pakistan banned commercial sale of human organs way back in 2007. In 2010, it strengthened the law by making trafficking of organs punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of $3,400. This is not an aberration. 3 years ago, a major kidney racket was exposed in Pakistan by the local police. Pakistan's Interior Minister, who was then serving as Chief Minister of Punjab province, revealed that a gang leader conducted operations on 328 people to remove their kidneys. These kidneys were then sold to clients for approximately $34,000 each. 8 people were arrested in connection with this racket that claimed at least 3 lives. And in a major boost to India's ever-expanding space ambitions, plans are now underway for a third spaceport near Gujarat's coastline. After the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh, and the upcoming spaceport in Tamil Nadu, India is preparing to add another strategic launch facility along the Arabian Sea. Gujarat Science and Technology Minister, in fact, confirmed in the State Assembly that a suitable site has been identified. In fact, assessments by the Indian Space Research Organization found the proposed coastal stretch to be technically sound and fully capable of supporting rocket launches. This development is expected to accelerate India's mission frequency and strengthen its launch infrastructure, especially on the Western Front. The announcement of a third satellite launch center coming at a time when India has become a trusted and cost-effective global partner, especially for launching satellites. Official data showing that ISRO has launched over 430 foreign satellites for global clients since 1999, along with more than 130 spacecraft missions. Over 98% of the foreign satellites have been launched since January 2007, including a world record of 104 satellites in a single mission in February 2017. The upcoming spaceport in Tamil Nadu is expected to further ease the launch pressure on Sriharikota, which became operational in October 1971. And now, with Gujarat entering the equation, India is well on its way to building a multi-port launch ecosystem, sending out a clear message to the world that India is not just participating in this space race, rather, it is redefining it. Let's now talk about a different kind of war, the one against deepfakes. First, have a look at these images. This is what the streets of Berlin looked like on Sunday, with thousands protesting against online sexual violence, expressing solidarity with victims. This also comes at a time when there has been renewed focus in the country on the menace of deepfakes. Earlier, a German celebrity came forward with allegations against a former partner. In fact, Germany has said it wants to make pornographic deepfakes a criminal offense after the celebrity accused her former husband of spreading sexualized images of her online. The case once again brought in focus digital violence on the internet when it comes to deepfakes and AI-generated images. And there is another development that has triggered serious concern: the rise in the amount of AI-generated child sexual abuse material found online. According to a safety watchdog, the Internet Watch Foundation, it rose by 14% last year, with the majority of videos showing the most extreme type of content. In fact, according to the Internet Watch Foundation, AI child sexual abuse material is widespread and growing. In 2025, it assessed 8,029 AI-generated images and videos as showing realistic child sexual abuse. Imagine that. With the imagery appearing across both dark web and mainstream commercial platforms on the clear web. So that's significant. And AI child sexual abuse material is increasingly extreme and sophisticated, according to it. Also, that realistic full-motion AI video content is now commonplace, it says. 65% of the videos identified by it last year were classified as Category A, the most extreme classification. Since it first started monitoring AI in early 2023, it has seen a frightening advancement in the ability to generate child sexual abuse imagery artificially. In fact, governments and regulators from Europe to Asia are cracking down on sexually explicit content. Considering the harm caused and the larger implications, there is a need for accountability and for this menace to be tackled head-on. AI child sexual abuse material causes real harm after all. Generative models can be trained and fine-tuned using photographic abuse imagery, directly re-victimizing survivors. According to the Internet Watch Foundation, advances in AI have driven the convergence of tools that previously required separate capabilities. So single applications can now generate abusive imagery with minimal effort, removing the need for technical expertise and significantly lowering barriers to entry. Also, according to it, the volume and the severity of AI imagery has increased exponentially because of the availability and ease of the tools. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.